So we are getting close to the end of the show. In the real world, striving for excellence is so much more productive than striving for perfection. In the coffee world, one of the most equipped people to talk about this and to prove it is Darrin Daniel, the executive director of Cup of Excellence. Darrin had been in the coffee industry since the 80s, at a time way before the majority of the world thought that sustainability is actually important for the future of coffee. And in his career, he served as a head green coffee buyer at the legendary Stumptown coffee roasters. He was the director of sourcing at Allegro Coffee. And he held many other positions in the industry in his pursuit of excellence in coffee.
So please give a warm welcome to Darrin Daniel.
Thank you, everybody. Let me just get all this stuff together. Really a pleasure and honor to be here. I really want to thank the entire Probat team, and especially Jan and Wim for the invitation this year. The partnership for me goes way back, as that very old date of 1985 that was mentioned as when I started in coffee in Eugene, Oregon, and from that point, the company that I worked for, Coffee Corner, had a beautiful UG22 vintage Probat all the way through my time with Allegro and with Stumptown. Probat has been our partner and really the driver for excellence for me in my career. So I'm really honored to be here. Also, I think without Probat for Cup of Excellence, it would have been impossible for us. In the very beginning, Probat leapt in and provided equipment in all of the countries that we work in and continues to do that. So without the support of Probat, COE would maybe not exist. So we really are heavily indebted to all of the work and the growth that we have. And so today I'm going to share a little bit of information about the impact and innovation that we have through the program. And really, when I think about impact, and that word's come up a lot, I think the impact, or let's say innovation, actually is what I meant to say. The innovation is really the auction platform that we designed and developed in 2002. We began in Brazil in 1999 as a study with the ICO and the ITC to see if we could raise premiums for farmers. That was really the whole goal, was to try to grow the prospect or the idea that we could get higher prices for coffee farmers. So we'll do a little bit of a case study today with an example of Ethiopia. So let me go next slide there. So I think I explained a little bit about who we are and what we do. And we have quickly moved into what totally about 15 countries, but currently about 12 countries, where we have a competition that's usually in country, and we bring a jury of sensory professionals from around the world. We're a membership-based organization, so we rely on membership as a nonprofit US-based company to bring these juries together to find coffees that have been submitted by farmers for the program, and then those coffees then are ranked using our own scoring system, which our founders George Howell and Susie Spindler helped to create that in those early days. And that's really what we do and who we are and who we serve. Are basically roasters and obviously producers. And the way that we do that is through this recognition, through the competition and the rewarding of the competition, and then recognizing and discovering as much information about those coffee farmers as we can, where they're at, the altitude, the variety, the way they process the coffees, even information about their family, GPS coordinates, as much transparent information as we can so that we can share that across the supply chain with roasters who are interested and importers who are interested in working with us. So it's really about recognizing and rewarding these incredible coffee producers. So again, we're serving the farmers our in-country partners, as I mentioned earlier, where we're working, and ultimately the roasters. So how we're defined is, as I said, working in 15 countries. Oh, I need to sort of move that forward. I'm clicking on both, so I apologize about some of the technical stuff here. So there we go. So we'll get to that slide there. So these are the three primary partners that we serve. And so when we talk about definition, this is just a quick kind of chart showing you the total countries that we've worked in, the membership base, which is now over 40 countries. And then over the last 22 years, we've been able to raise $76 million in auction proceeds, of which at least 70% of those auction dollars, go directly to farmers. That's really the whole mission. And again, going back to where we started in 1999, I think this chart kind of explains a lot about the cup of excellence versus the commodified coffee. And if you look at the charts, you can see where we started. We were very, very close to where the market was, and that would have been Brazil in 1999. And then again, even in 2000 to 2001, this would have represented, pretty close to the C market pricing. And then along the way, we saw the quality of the coffees improving. We saw prices getting higher. We saw more recognition from the countries that were interested in buying these coffees at very high prices in the auction structure. We had some pretty large spikes from 2018. Interestingly, if you look at 2020 and 2021, we didn't know if we would even really make it and really get through the COVID pandemic. We had to completely reconstruct the entire program. We had to take the juries, not virtually, but globally, into all the countries where we worked with our members and completely reconstruct the entire program. And somehow we had the two best years, and 2022 has equally been so far record-breaking in many, many ways for us. So we're just delighted that we were able to stick around during some really tough times. The next slide is showing the very top price for the #1 coffee, the highest ranked coffee by all countries aggregated. And this past, just recently in 2022, we were able to break that record in Ethiopia, and that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today, is what we saw in Ethiopia. $400 a pound for the winning lot. Quite a bit of money as we look at that C market price. If we go back and look at where the market is today at $215, $210. Obviously, these are micro lots, very small amounts of coffee, but there's a lot of impact that happens as a result of these farmers being identified and rewarded that goes beyond what the Cup of Excellence can really do. So the intention is not to show off these high prices, but really to put the farmers on a platform and be a bridge, connecting markets, right? That's what this is really all about. And we always talk about that as we're just a bridge provider as a nonprofit. We're there to connect people together. So this is a breakout by country over the years, the percentage of dollars. And obviously you can see Brazil, because it being historically the oldest, that's why we see such a large share. And even with Ethiopia being in its third year, it's already taken up almost 5% of the total dollars that we've been able to raise. So over the last 5 years, 40 countries are represented. I won't go into detail about the markets that we serve in all of the countries, but I will explore a little bit the markets that we saw over the last 3 years with Ethiopia. So again, with Ethiopia in the 2020 to 2022 period, we've raised over $4.5 million in auction proceeds. This past year, in 2022, the average price for all of the auction lots, which would represent 30 lots of coffees, that weighted average was $32.28 a pound. Our target for success essentially is about $15 to $17 a pound. So when we look at Ethiopia, everything is completely blown up. We expected some great levels of success because we know that Ethiopia produces beautiful coffee, and there are many other great coffee countries that we could talk about, and many other examples of success. But with Ethiopia, unparalleled success. So we also have done some other activities outside of the COE program or our National Winners Auction, where we actually have a marketplace platform where the coffees that didn't qualify are also able to go onto a platform. And our partner, we're partnering with M Cultivo, a UK-based and US-based tech provider that is allowing us to have a bigger footprint to try to build even more premiums for more farmers outside of just the Cup of Excellence. So a little bit by the numbers here, you can see over the 3-year period the market drivers. Since the very beginning of COE, really Japan has been a very strong partner for us. In the very beginning, in the first few years, really it was the US and Europe and Scandinavia. And obviously they're still very much a part of the program, but there's a little bit of a new landscape over the last few years. Taiwan, Korea have been very, very strong. The big growth that we've seen recently is really looking at Saudi Arabia and looking at China as an emerging market for specialty. So this is kind of interesting just to take a look at the breakout. And we did have some pretty interesting growth in markets that with Emirates as well. But China and Saudi Arabia, very interesting trends to see. So again, just another breakout of the lead buyers by country representing 18 different countries, sorry. So again, connecting markets, we were able to have some amazing success in the first year with Ethiopia, with a buyer in London, and they've got some media and press and recognition through CNN Travel for the $64 cup of coffee. And then also just pointing out one of our partners, Cafe Brennered, and the GCC teams that I was talking about. We had global juries all around the world, and we're starting to finally get back to in-person juries. But during this period, we had to we created different teams like Team Bourbon and Team Coutura and Team Pacamara by all these different global centers to achieve the success we were able to achieve. So I have a couple little testimonials that the video will be playing here in a second. It should just play right here. This is the 2021 winner, Tamaru, and he was in Boston recently at the SCA convention and was at an event that George Howell had put on. And we'll just play that testimonial here.
It changed everything in our country. So, it's had huge impact in Ethiopia, especially. I don't know, Cup of Excellence had such impact in another country. In Ethiopia, it's completely different. We are doing safety competition right now. Farmers are encouraged. They started producing, just 1,000 kg. Before, to have washing station, you need a special license from government, and if you are not operating by volume, large volume, it's very difficult to keep up with this all costs. But now, if you have 1,000 kg, and if you want Cup of Excellence, that's a lot of money, and it will give you a chance to export directly to buying country, like Asia, US, and Europe. So it changed everything. We have a lot of things happening in our country right now, and everyone is encouraged, and each year the number of participants who are giving their sample to Cup of Excellence is increasing.
So it was really an honor to have him be able to come to Boston, and he's pretty much a coffee rock star in my mind. And just to connect the markets again, I thought it'd be really nice to have another quick testimonial and communication from another partner, 19 Grams here in Germany, and their coffee buyer, and someone that had been serving on our jury this year, Mars.
Hi, it's Mars from 19 Grams, based in Berlin, Germany. To me, I think Cup of Excellence is a community. It connects coffee professionals with other coffee professionals and coffee producers. I think Cup of Excellence helps improve coffee quality by motivating coffee producers to produce better coffees, so to gain more recognition and coffee to be sold at better prices. With Cup of Excellence options, the coffees get to be sold with more transparency and directly. Thank you so much for doing such a great job, and I hope this community keeps growing.
Great. I just thought that would be really nice to just really, literally bring these two, kind of entities together that are so important for us as an organization. We really rely on membership, and we rely on our sponsors, and our mission really since the beginning has not changed. And I know innovation means change sometimes, but sometimes innovation is just really doubling down on what you know you're good at doing. And we're very proud of the work we've been able to do with the Cup of Excellence. And I know I finished a little bit early. I talk a little fast, so I'm sorry if I rush through anything. I'm more than happy to take any questions after the talk. And again, just very delighted to be here. I hope you learned a little bit about what we do at Cup of Excellence. Obviously, if you, there was a QR up there, but if you want to connect with me, just please feel free. And again, thank you so much. Thank you.